Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Learn SQL Server series. This is part 4, Subqueries. My name is Martin. So, subqueries are going to be a way that you're able to get a data based upon a query that you're going to be running in another query. So you can do within there aggregate, you can get the minimum, the maximum, average, and that kind of stuff. So, without further ado, let's just hop into the code. Alright, so, let me see here. Let's do select star from production dot product. So we have it in this table. Okay. List price. Yeah, let's do list price. Okay. So what I want to see is I want to see all the products where the list price is greater than 0. Right? So then I get these products here. Now I want to get the average of that. So we remember in our last video, if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that in part 3. It's really cool. Alright, so we know that we can put average, and then we put in here the column that we want to get the average of. Run this. Okay, so what is extremely important that you know relative to subqueries is that they're only going to work if you have in here a one column, like we have here, and also one row. If you don't do that, a SQL server is going to explode. It's going to say, hey, I don't know what you're trying to do. So let me just give you an example of how it doesn't work. So let's say I wanted to get the average of, I forget what the columns are. Alright, let's try this again. Comma, alright, copy this, run that. Okay, let's do the standard cost. Alright, so AVG, standard cost. So in here, it works fine. A SQL Server is happy. But if we did something like select star from production dot product, so we have here our table. We know what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is we're trying to see where the list price of the product is going to be less than what the average list price is. So let's say we take our query that we think works. So we have our list price right here. And just to be a little bit more deliberate in our naming, I'm going to put AVG list price. And for the standard cost average, I'm going to put AVG standard cost. Alright, let's run this, make sure everything works. Everything does work. Copy this code, and I'm going to put it in two parentheses. So whenever you create subqueries, you have to put them in parentheses. So you're just going to take whatever you ran, you put it in there, and then you run it. So according to this, SQL Server looks pretty happy, right? So let's see how happy SQL Server is. It says, hey, only one expression can be specified in the select list when the subquery is not introduced with exists. We'll go over exists a little bit later on. Just for right now, just know that the subquery can only contain one column and it can only contain one row. So let's make SQL Server happy and let's remove the standard cost. I'm going to remove it up top and the bottom as well. Okay, so we remove it up top, and now let's remove it from the bottom as well. And you can have this alias if you'd like. You can say as. As is optional. You don't have to say as. You really don't even need a name in it. You could just remove it. A SQL Server is still happy with it. It doesn't care what the name is as long as you have a value. So if we run this, we see that we get our results. Cool. So we're still pulling back records where the list price is actually a 0. And the reason why is because we specified that we only want to get the average where the list price is going to be greater than 0. But in this outside query, I just said, hey, just give me the average, or just give me back the records where the list price is actually going to be less than the list price. Well, I think it was like 727 is going to be greater than 0. So that's why they came back. So to fix it, we can say and list price is greater than 0. That should work. So now we get back all of our list price that are greater than 0, and we're also calculating that in the subquery as well. Are you confused yet? Because it does get confusing. I remember when I was first learning this, I was like, why is SQL Server throwing errors? I don't understand. But as long as you know that one tip, where in the subquery, when you run it, you only get back one record and you get back one column, you should be good to go. Alright, let's do a couple more here just to practice. Select star from human resources dot employee. Let's try that. Okay. Birthday. Okay. Let's do vacation hours. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to see what the average vacation hours is. And then I want to get all the employees that have a greater than what the average vacation hours is across all employees. No restrictions at this time. Alright, so I know that I want to get all the records where vacation hours is going to be greater than the average. So remember, whenever you create subqueries, you're going to create a parentheses. Then you're going to select star, or I'm sorry, not star, average. I'm going to leave this blank for right now because I really want to have IntelliSense help me. So select star from human resources dot employee, and now we'll be able to go back to fill in what this column is. So we're looking for vacation hours. Now before I run it, I want to be sure my subquery works. It does. So now let's run this, and we should get back all the vacation hours where they are greater than 50. Cool. So you're probably asking me, well, why couldn't I just hardcode in there the value of whatever the average is? So in other words, if I run this, then so I get 50, why can't I just take this 50, throw it in there, not having to do all of this mess? Well, that's an excellent question. One thing about hard coding the value is just that it's always going to be hard coded. So you're always going to be getting back vacation hours where that is going to be a greater than 50. Well, that doesn't sound like a problem until you start changing records, or you're adding new people, or you're maybe going to be deleting new people. So whenever the vacation hours changes amongst all of these people, so let's say that we had a person who has 99 hours. He used up all of his vacation time. Um, Now this average that we're actually calculating on is going to change. It might not be 50 anymore. So that's why we're using hub queries, because it is going to dynamically grab what the average is across all of the people. All right, let's do another one here. Select star from human resources dot employee pay history. Should have some money in it, right? Right. Perfect. All right. So let's do something a little bit different here. Okay, we're gonna get what the average rate is of the people. Let me see. The average rate of the people is Modified date, let me see, 731. So it looks like 731 seems to be a common date. I'm gonna somehow use this column. I'm not sure how yet, but I'm gonna use it somehow. So select star from human resources employee where modified date is greater than. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's try less than this. All right, cool. So there are 39 people who I'm assuming haven't had raises, maybe. I'm just going to say that. All right. So now I want to grab what the average is of that. So give me the average of the rate from this table where the modified date is going to be less than 731 2008. Oops, round this, and now we get $15.04. Cool. So now let's write our outside query. So select star from human resources dot employee pay history, where, remember, we're looking for the rate, and we're looking for the rate where the rate is going to be greater than the average. Okay, so let's run this. Great, so now we see that all these people have the rate greater than the average. Let's also add where the modified date is greater. Where modified date is greater. Oops. And modified date is greater. There we go. Alright, so this concludes our video for Subqueries. Our next video is going to be about inserting data. I hope to see you all there. Bye.